Hello, and welcome to another chapter of a tome pulled right off the shelves at the heart of the Jakuls. As always, I'm your skillful host, Lothran, and there's ever so much more data to relay. So let's get to it, shall we? Go grab a filling meal, settle into a cozy spot, and pay accurate attention to Fleet Part 38, A Further Fall. Vilivin huddled behind the table with the other two men. He turned, signaling back to the others, protecting the few women of their group. "Do it," he ordered to Torm, the specialist whose design the three of them had built into a bomb. Torm nodded, clicking the button in his palm. Nothing happened. He looked shocked, until the box fell off of the door. I thought you welded it, Deckard." "I did weld it. Listen, Sonny, if there's anything wrong with the device, it's not with..." That was when the floor opened up right beneath them. 4 triangular flaps, one of them a little bit larger than the other 3 to take the table with it as it fell away. Every one of them hung there, the flickering of a translucent shield the only thing holding their group up in the air. "Stay calm!" Vilivin shouted to the others against the far wall. And then he was tumbling into the abyss. The net caught and entangled his thrashing limbs after what felt like an eternity. "Stop struggling, kid! You're just making it worse!" Vilivin allowed the burly man to lift him from the holes in the canvas netting he'd fallen into. "Where are the others?" Vilivin asked, caring little for his own safety. Still up above us. Some Novir soldiers that came into the room." It was just us that fell?" Vilivin asked, feeling more than a little dismay. "Yeah, they said something about everyone failed and escorted them away." How did you hear them?" Torm stumbled through his hurried question. "Didn't. When the wife and I were raising our third, Irella came down with Borulgath." Deckard fell silent afterwards. Both Vilivin and Torm chose not to comment. For Deckard's wife to have been alive on Murdiag 4 when it was taken by the Silderum, she would have had to have lived through a disease that had never occurred on that colony. All adults that survived that plague were rendered mute by it. His daughter Irella, well, Borulgath never spared children that caught it. Vilivin put his hand on the other man's shoulder and leveled a consoling stare his way. Deckard thanked him by patting the hand on his shoulder and nodding back to Vilivin. "Excellent work." Cam's resonant voice echoed into the dim cavern where the 3 men hung. "What is wrong with you?" Vilivin raged up at the voice reaching down to them. "From the sound of it, not as much as I feared. The 3 of you have done well. We have marked your records accordingly. You will climb to the door when it opens, and leap into the well one at a time when instructed." "How can we trust anything you say?" Vilivin cried out, swinging the net with his fury, the other 2 men reaching out to calm his indignation. No response came to them. A door appeared to be solid rock, smoothly and with nary a whisper separated itself from the surrounding rough-hewn stone, revealing a brilliantly bright, glowing shaft, with a drop into an unforeseeable fate. "I'll go first," Vilivin told the others, and they listened, nodding their heads, looking as grim as Vilivin felt. He leapt. The water was colder than the deepest reaches of space. Vilivin felt himself sucked down below the surface, shot through a tube and out into open air that was so much warmer that for the first few moments after he landed and washed across hard cobbled stone, Vilivin felt almost as if his skin were burning. 2 more waves of water followed 30 seconds apart. 2 more waterlogged and gasping, confused men struggling to find their bearings. Vilivin helped Deckard, and then Torm to their feet. "Welcome," Cam's voice beckoned as the light slowly birthed itself into the room from between many of the mortar seams all around them. Not enough light to illuminate the entire space, but plenty for most of the details to come through as their eyes adjusted to the gloom of their next trial. What is this place? Torm was the first to ask. It is... We've come to call it the Deep Well. Cam laughed once more, full of good humor apparent in his voice. That's what the old Jackal called their old home. Vilivin was the first to see the connection. You know a lot more than your file gives you credit for, Vilivin Romagar. You're named after two monsters from the old Heart Tales, kid. Which, two is, that, Deckard and Vilivin both stared at Torm as if there were something wrong with him. Torm struggled to, explain his situation. Torm has dyslexia, Cam informed them. Torm nodded, looking more than a little upset with the passing of this knowledge without his permission. It's okay, Torm. Vilivin reached out to assuage his new friend's damaged feelings. Vilivin comes from the spider women in bubbling broth that kidnap children to eat them, and Romagar is the archivist's designation for the monsters that sing the story in the famine we feast. Cam told them from wherever it was his voice was transmitting. What about me? Deckard bellowed. Deckard is the only surviving member of his family. All the others have died either previously or in the war with the Sildarum, Cam replied, putting a bow on the gift of each of them knowing very private information about one another. How did you know about the Romagar? No one knows that, Vilivin asked of Deckard. I was once almost an archivist. Turned it down to stay with my family. You dealt with actual Romagar? Vilivin had always thought most of the heart stories had been little more than myths and legends of old, lost times, until he saw the horrified look in Deckard's eye and the steel clenching fists at his hips. Enough chatter! Cam bellowed. One of you will explore a maze. One of you will reclaim items that the warrior collects. The warrior will be your leader. The scrapper below him, the last of you, will toil until the warrior can free you from your suffering. Choose! Cam's voice vanished, and some of the burgeoning glow of the walls left with him. I'll do the suffering. Torm, you're the scrapper. No, kid. Both Deckard said, and Torm backed him up in the same instant by shaking his head vehemently. What? Why not? Vilivin asked incredulously. You're forgetting the key, kid. Cam is giving us clues to a puzzle. Yeah, and we have to choose correctly. That's it. It's why I'm the one who suffers. You're already the leader, kid. Deckard slapped him on the back. So you have to be the warrior. I've already done all the suffering. I've lived a long, hard life, so that's my role. You get out in that maze, and you do right by us, kid. Deckard bear-hugged Vilivin before separating himself from the other two, and then falling through the sudden hole in the floor beneath his feet. No! Vilivin cried out, reaching for the disappearing form of his friend, far too late to do anything about it. Vilivin stood back up as another door filtering all too bright lights into their tiny space lifted at the other side of the room. I'm a leader? Vilivin said the unreal-sounding words to himself, never having dreamed that he'd be in this position. I'm a leader, he repeated much more firmly the second time. And so it is. Our time together has once more come to a close. I hope each and every one of you enjoyed the tale as much as I have the telling of it. As always, I've been your relentless host, Lothran, and this was Fleet Part 38, A Further Fall, another tale right from the heart of the Jakuls. And now, we must once again part ways. Korvoth, guide them back along the proper path, back to the safety they know all too well.
Yes, sir, Lothran. Oh, there's more tricks. I didn't see this coming. Oh, this is so exciting. I still got a job to do, though. A pleasant greeting and a fond farewell to each and all. Please leave all your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. Don't you let me catch a single one of you leaving any of that mean, rude, or terrible stuff, though. You keep all that baloney to yourselves, got it? Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us learn, spread, and grow. And don't forget that we strongly encourage each and every one of you to stay safe out there. See you again tomorrow for Fleet Part 39. This arc just keeps getting better and better. Good night and good luck. You'll need it. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.